The Galactic Academy. Nestled in the heart of the Orion Arm, the Galactic Academy stood as a beacon of excellence, drawing the brightest minds from countless star systems. For centuries, this prestigious institution had shaped the future leaders of the galaxy, forging alliances and fostering understanding among diverse species. Zara Solaris, a young human cadet, strode through the Academy's grand atrium, her footsteps echoing on the polished marble floor. She couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the towering alien architecture that surrounded her. Intricate holographic displays showcased the accomplishments of previous graduates, while the flags of 100 worlds fluttered in the artificial breeze. As one of the few humans enrolled in the Academy, Zara was well aware of the skepticism and low expectations that followed her kind. Earth, a notorious death world, had only recently made contact with the galactic community, and its inhabitants were often viewed as primitive, violent, and unpredictable. Whispers followed Zara as she made her way to the main auditorium for orientation. Some cadets eyed her with curiosity, others with thinly veiled disdain. The humans' reputation as survivors of a harsh and unforgiving world was well known, but few believed they had anything valuable to offer the sophisticated galactic society. Inside the auditorium, Zara took her seat among a sea of alien faces. At the front of the room, a tall, slender figure with iridescent blue skin and piercing silver eyes commanded attention. This was Commander Zovax, a renowned instructor known for his strict adherence to discipline and protocol. "Cadets," Zovax began, his voice resonating through the room, "you have been selected to join the ranks of the Galactic Academy because you represent the best and brightest your species has to offer. Over the next several cycles, you will be tested physically, mentally, and emotionally. You will push yourselves beyond your limits and discover what you're truly capable of." He paused, his gaze sweeping over the assembled cadets. "In 2 rotations, you will undergo a comprehensive skills assessment. This evaluation will measure your strengths, expose your weaknesses, and determine your placement within the Academy's hierarchy. Prepare yourselves, for this will be no ordinary test." Zara leaned forward in her seat, a flicker of determination in her eyes. She knew that, as a human, she would have to work twice as hard to prove herself, but she was ready for the challenge, ready to show the galaxy what a Deathworlder could do. As the orientation drew to a close, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that the skills assessment would be a turning point not just for her, but for the perception of humans as a whole. Little did she know just how right she was, and how much her performance would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Order. The assessment begins. The day of the skills assessment arrived, and the Academy buzzed with anticipation. Cadets from various species gathered in the sprawling training complex, each eager to prove their worth and secure their place in the ranks. Zara Solaris stood among her fellow cadets, her dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, her uniform crisp and immaculate. She could feel the weight of curious and skeptical gazes upon her, but she kept her focus on the task at hand. The assessment began with a series of physical challenges designed to test strength, speed, and endurance. In the weightlifting section, muscular aliens from high-gravity worlds hoisted massive loads with ease, their bulging muscles rippling under their skin. When Zara's turn came, murmurs of doubt rippled through the crowd. How could a small, unassuming human hope to compare? But as Zara gripped the bar and began to lift, jaws dropped in astonishment. With a fluid, almost effortless motion, she raised a weight that would have crushed many of her peers. Whispers turned to gasps as she completed rep after rep, her endurance seemingly limitless. In the speed trials, lithe alien cadets with aerodynamic bodies and lightning-fast reflexes set blistering paces. Zara stepped up to the starting line, her expression calm and focused. At the sound of the starting shot, she exploded into motion, her strides powerful and precise. She quickly overtook her competitors, leaving them in the dust as she crossed the finish line in record time. As the physical tests concluded, the cadets moved on to the combat simulator. Here, they would face realistic holographic enemies in a variety of scenarios, testing their situational awareness, tactical thinking, and ability to perform under pressure. Zara entered the simulator, the walls shimmering as the holographic environment took shape around her. She found herself in a dense urban battlefield, skyscrapers towering overhead and debris littering the streets. Alien cadets took their turns, their performance ranging from adequate to impressive. But when Zora's scenario began, it was clear that she operated on a different level entirely. With lightning-fast reflexes and a preternatural sense of her surroundings, she navigated the battlefield like a ghost, always one step ahead of her digital foes. She anticipated enemy movements, setting up ambushes and striking with brutal efficiency. Her tactical decisions were swift and decisive, showcasing a level of situational awareness that left her instructors stunned. As the simulation ended, Zora emerged from the simulator, her breathing steady and controlled. Around her, alien cadets and instructors alike gaped in disbelief. Some exchanged uneasy glances, whispering among themselves. A human, outperforming the galaxy's finest. It was unheard of. But this was only the beginning. As the assessment progressed, Zora continued to shatter expectations, demonstrating abilities that defied explanation. It was becoming increasingly clear that the Deathworlders had been hiding the true extent of their potential. And as Zora's legend grew, so too did the unease among her alien peers. Some saw her as a threat, a challenge to the established order. Others viewed her with a mix of awe and fear, wondering just how far the humans' superhuman abilities could take them. The stage was set for a reckoning, as the galaxy began to realize that the Deathworlders were not to be underestimated. And at the center of it all was Zora Solaris, a beacon of human excellence shining bright in the cosmos. Superhuman feats. As the skills assessment progressed, Zora Solaris continued to astound her peers and instructors alike with her seemingly superhuman abilities. In the marksmanship range, she demonstrated uncanny accuracy, hitting targets at distances that should have been impossible for any human. With a steady hand and a keen eye, Zora lined up shot after shot, the crack of her rifle echoing through the range. Alien cadets who had honed their skills for years watched in disbelief as she outperformed them with ease, her groupings so tight they seemed to defy the laws of physics. But it was in the hand-to-hand combat trials that Zora truly shone. Pitted against the most formidable alien fighters, she showcased a level of martial prowess that left even the most seasoned warriors in awe. In the sparring ring, Zora faced off against a massive Kragaran, a species renowned for their brute strength and durability. The alien towered over her, his muscles rippling beneath his scaly hide. But when the match began, it was clear that size and strength alone were no match for Zora's skill and speed. She danced around her opponent, striking with lightning-fast precision. Her movements were fluid and graceful, a deadly ballet that left the Kragaran reeling. With a series of well-placed blows and a deft grappling maneuver, Zora brought the giant down, pinning him to the mat in a display of raw combat superiority. As she helped her stunned opponent to his feet, whispers raced through the gathered crowd. Some spoke of ancient legends, of the fabled warriors of Earth who had survived the harshest conditions imaginable. Others speculated about secret training programs, wondering if the humans had been preparing for this moment for generations. But Zora's abilities extended beyond the physical realm. In tests of mental acuity and problem-solving under pressure, she demonstrated a level of cognitive flexibility and adaptability that left her instructors in awe. In the strategy simulator, Zora was presented with complex scenarios that would have left most cadets overwhelmed. But she approached each challenge with a cool, analytical mind, breaking down problems into their component parts and devising innovative solutions on the fly. Under the most intense pressure, when others would have cracked, Zora only seemed to grow more focused, more determined. Her mental resilience was as impressive as her physical prowess, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. As word of Zora's incredible feats spread through the academy, speculation ran rampant. Some wondered if all humans possessed such abilities, If Earth had been hiding a race of superpowered beings all along, others feared what it might mean for the balance of power in the galaxy if the Deathworlders were truly as capable as Zara suggested. Instructors pored over the data from Zara's tests, trying to make sense of her unprecedented performance. They analyzed her every move, seeking to understand the secrets behind her success. But the more they studied her, the more they realized that there was something special about this human, something that defied conventional understanding. As the assessment drew to a close, one thing was clear. Zara Solaris had shattered every preconception about what humans were capable of. She had proven that the Deathworlders were not to be underestimated, that they possessed a strength and resilience that could not be quantified or contained. And as the galaxy began to take notice, as the whispers of the human cadet who had defied all odds grew louder, Zara knew that her journey was only just beginning. For she had not come to the Galactic Academy merely to prove herself, but to open the door for all of humanity to take its rightful place among the stars. Rising tensions. As Zara Solaris' reputation grew, so too did the unease among her alien peers. While some viewed her with grudging respect, others saw her success as a threat to the established order. Whispers of discontent began to circulate through the Academy's halls as cadets from rival species plotted to undermine the human upstart. Leading the charge against Zara was Kixvan, a brilliant but arrogant Zephyrian who had long been considered the Academy's top prospect. Kixvan's people were known for their advanced technology and superior intellect, and he had always looked down upon the primitive humans with disdain. As Zara continued to outshine him in every test, Kixvan's resentment festered. He began to spread rumors that Zara was secretly using illegal enhancements, that no human could possibly perform at such a high level without artificial aid. At first, Zara tried to ignore the rumors, focusing instead on her training and studies. But as the whispers grew louder and more insistent, she knew she couldn't stay silent forever. Matters came to a head during a live-fire exercise in the Academy's combat simulator. As Zara and her team navigated a treacherous battlefield scenario, Kixvan and his allies launched a coordinated attack, seeking to sabotage her efforts and make her look incompetent in front of the instructors. But Zara was not so easily defeated. With lightning-fast reflexes and uncanny situational awareness, she rallied her team and turned the tables on their attackers. In a daring display of tactical brilliance, she outmaneuvered Kixvan's forces, exposing their underhanded tactics for all to see. As the simulation ended, Zara stood tall amid the wreckage, her eyes blazing with righteous indignation. She turned to face Kixvan, who glared back at her with a mix of hatred and grudging respect. "I have earned my place here," Zara declared, her voice ringing out clear and strong. "Not through trickery or deceit, but through hard work and dedication, and I will not be intimidated by those who seek to undermine me." Her words struck a chord with many of the other cadets, who had grown weary of Kixvan's constant scheming and manipulation. But some remained unconvinced, their distrust of humans too deeply ingrained to be easily shaken. In response to the growing controversy, the Academy's instructors subjected Zara to even more grueling tests, pushing her to the very limits of her abilities. They pitted her against the most advanced combat drones, challenged her with mind-bending strategic simulations, and even tested her in the infamous Gauntlet, a brutal obstacle course designed to break even the toughest cadets. But no matter what they threw at her, Zara refused to back down. With each new challenge, she only seemed to grow stronger, more determined. Her indomitable will and unyielding spirit became the stuff of legend, inspiring some and infuriating others. As the tensions within the Academy reached a boiling point, it became clear that Zara's presence had sparked something far greater than a simple rivalry between cadets. Her success had called into question long-held assumptions about the capabilities of different species and threatened to upset the delicate balance of power that had governed the galaxy for centuries. Some saw her as a harbinger of change, a symbol of the untapped potential that lay hidden within the human race. Others viewed her as a dangerous wild card, a threat to the very fabric of galactic society. But Zara remained undaunted, her gaze fixed firmly on the horizon. She knew that her journey was far from over, and that the true test of her abilities was still to come. For in the depths of space, a new challenge was emerging, one that would put all of her skills and resolve to the ultimate test. And as she prepared to face this final trial, Zara knew that the fate of not just herself, but of all humanity hung in the balance. The final challenge. As the skills assessment reached its climax, the Academy's instructors announced the final challenge. A grueling capture-the-flag exercise that would pit teams of cadets against each other in a ruthless battle of wits and skill. Zara Solaris found herself leading a small, diverse squad of cadets from various species, each hand-picked for their unique abilities and potential. Among them was Raxful, a brilliant Andorian tactician, Lena Soren, a lightning-fast Venturi scout, and Grok, a powerful Kragaran warrior with a heart of gold. Together, they faced off against an elite team led by none other than Kixvan himself. The Zephyrian had handpicked the best and brightest from his own faction, assembling a squad that oozed confidence and arrogance. As the two teams entered the sprawling combat arena, a hush fell over the gathered spectators. This was not just a test of individual skill, but of leadership, teamwork, and strategy. The stakes had never been higher. From the outset, it was clear that Kixvan's team had the advantage in terms of raw firepower and technological superiority. They moved with precision and coordination, their weapons cutting through the air with deadly accuracy. But Zara and her team refused to be intimidated. Drawing on every ounce of her training and experience, she led her squad with a cool, steady hand, adapting their tactics on the fly to counter Kixvan's every move. With Raxful's tactical guidance, they laid traps and ambushes, turning the terrain itself into a weapon. Lena's incredible speed allowed them to outmaneuver their opponents, striking from unexpected angles before melting back into the shadows. And Gruk's indomitable strength and courage inspired them all, holding the line against even the fiercest assaults. But as the battle wore on, it became clear that Kixvan's team was not going to go down easily. With each passing minute, they grew more aggressive, more desperate to secure victory at any cost. In a final, all-out assault, they unleashed a devastating barrage of firepower, pinning Zara and her team down behind a crumbling wall. Laser blasts and plasma bolts filled the air, as the two sides exchanged furious volleys of fire. It was then, in that moment of desperation, that Zara saw her chance. With a burst of speed and agility that left even her own teammates in awe, she vaulted over the wall and charged headlong into the enemy lines, a lone human against a sea of hostile aliens. Time seemed to slow down as Zara danced through the hail of fire, her reflexes and instincts guiding her every move. With a series of deft maneuvers and well-placed shots, she neutralized one foe after another, carving a path of destruction through Kixvan's forces. Her teammates watched in awe as she single-handedly turned the tide of battle, her fierce determination and indomitable will a beacon of hope in the chaos of combat. And when at last she emerged from the fray, the enemy flag clutched triumphantly in her hand. A cheer went up from the assembled crowds. In that moment, as Zara stood tall amid the wreckage of the arena, her face streaked with sweat and grime, she knew that she had proven herself once and for all, not just as a soldier, but as a leader, a warrior, and a true champion of the human spirit. As the implications of her victory began to sink in, as the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, Zara felt a sense of calm wash over her. She had faced the greatest challenge of her life and emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever before. And as she looked to the stars above, she knew that this was only the beginning. For the human race was rising, and the galaxy would never be the same again. A new era. In the aftermath of Zara Solaris's incredible victory, the Galactic Academy was abuzz with excitement and speculation. Never before had a human cadet so thoroughly dominated the skills assessment, let alone outshone the most elite alien competitors. As news of her triumph spread beyond the Academy's walls, ripples of change began to sweep across the galaxy. On Earth, celebrations erupted in the streets as humans everywhere marveled at the incredible feats of one of their own. For the first time in generations, they dared to dream of a future beyond the confines of their war-torn planet, a future in which they could take their rightful place among the stars. But not everyone was so quick to embrace this new reality. In the halls of power across the galaxy, many viewed Zora's success with a mix of awe and trepidation. For if one human could achieve such incredible feats, what might an entire race of them be capable of? Some called for strict new regulations on human advancement, fearing that their rapid rise could upset the delicate balance of power that had governed the galaxy for so long. Others saw opportunity in the chaos, plotting to exploit the humans' newfound reputation for their own gain. Amid this swirl of political intrigue and social upheaval, Zora found herself at the center of a new and unexpected challenge. As the de facto ambassador for her people, she was called upon to navigate the treacherous waters of galactic diplomacy, forging alliances and brokering deals that would shape the course of human destiny for generations to come. It was a role she had never sought, but one she knew she could not refuse. For the future of her species hung in the balance, and she would do whatever it took to ensure that humans were treated as equals, not as second-class citizens or potential threats. As she set to work, Zora drew upon all of the skills and lessons she had learned at the Academy. She negotiated with cunning and tact, forged unlikely alliances through sheer force of will, and stood firm in the face of even the most daunting challenges. Slowly but surely, she began to make progress. Human ambassadors were welcomed in the great halls of the Galactic Council, their voices heard and their opinions respected. Trade deals were struck, scientific collaborations forged, and cultural exchanges initiated. And as humanity began to take its first tentative steps onto the galactic stage, a new era of possibility and potential dawned. No longer were they the outcast Deathworlders, the primitive savages to be feared and shunned. Now, they were equals, partners in the great dance of civilization that spanned the stars. At the heart of it all stood Zora Solaris, the woman who had started it all. The hero who had proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that humans were not to be underestimated, that they possessed a strength and resilience that could overcome any obstacle. As she looked out across the vast expanse of the galaxy, Zora knew that the road ahead would not be easy. There would be challenges and setbacks, obstacles and enemies at every turn. But she also knew that the human spirit was indomitable, that they would never stop fighting for their place in the universe. And as the stars themselves seemed to align in recognition of this new era, Zora felt a sense of profound purpose settle over her, for she had been chosen by fate to lead her people into the light, to guide them through the darkness and into a brighter tomorrow. With a smile on her face and fire in her heart, Zora Solaris stepped forward into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For she was human, and she would never back down, never surrender, never stop reaching for the stars. And in that moment, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what wonders this remarkable species would accomplish next. For a new era had dawned, and the universe would never be the same.